morning. How's it going? Happy Monday. Did you have a great weekend?
Yes, thank you.
That's good. I'm so glad. If you didn't learn how to swim this weekend, you're never going to learn how to swim. My goodness. I think my feet are now webbed. All righty. So let's get started. Let's get started this morning, however, with my friend Ellen.
This comes from someone named Susie Hayes in Lancaster, New York. This is the information that came on the radio in my car. It's for the adult hit station. And it says, now playing When a Man Does a Woman. Yeah, I think they meant When a Man Loves a Woman. Maybe I'm wrong, because later in the day they played Hold Me Closer, Tiny Pole Dancer. You Can Touch This. And of course everyone's favorite, Sweet Ho, Alabama. Oh. Lorraine Ike in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. I saw the sign at the entrance to the office park where I take my son to his doctor. Here's part of the sign. Okay, let's see the rest. Spread equal assistance. Really? They're not just open for business, they're wide open. It's real. Lauren Hinkle in Katy, Texas. I saw this ad on the side of a bus in Melbourne, Australia. It says, Golden Gay Time. It's hard to have a gay time on your own. Yeah. Yes. In Australia, they call it gay time. In America, we call it Ben and Jerry. Kenzie Music from Circleville, Ohio. I took this picture at a children's play area. Fun of a safari and a colonoscopy. I found a quarter. I found a polyp. Thanks for sending those in.
All righty. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not sure I'm letting my children play at that play area. All righty. Let's keep moving on. Mr. Paul Leibowitz. What you got for us this morning?
Good morning. Yes, quite the busy weekend, too. A ton of pre-qualifications, a ton of calls, people out actively looking. So I want to thank all the realtors who are working hard this weekend. God knows we were as well. This morning, I just want to bring up the idea that a 30-year fix is not the only loan that you can have. In fact, the 20-year is also a very good alternative when a borrower wants the loan to go away quicker. You know, with the 15, it's a pretty big payment, but with the 20, it's not. And I'll give you an example. On a $480,000 mortgage, that's a $600,000 purchase. Today's 30-year fix is at 2.875, nice and low. And the payment's $1,896, so just under $1,900. But if you switch it down to a 20-year note, now all of a sudden, and by the way, the rate is 2.75, so you get a little bit of a discount there. And now your payment's $2,600, so you're paying a lot more principal than you are on a 30, and it goes away twice as, almost as fast. So one more thing, and that is that we have a custom amortization schedule for any number. So if somebody wants a 26-year mortgage, a 14-year mortgage, 22-year mortgage, we can handle all of those. Our lenders offer custom amortization schedules across the board. And so for some borrowers, this is a perfect way to really handle their finances going forward. And so again, thank you. And the rates are below 3. We love it.
Woo! Thank you, Paul. We appreciate that. All righty. So for today, just a reminder, 11 o'clock today, we do have our PPP session. And again, I know for many of you that sounds like we're stepping back in time 2 or 3 months to discussing PPP. However, I do encourage you, if you did not apply for PPP funding, be on the call at 11 o'clock because you do qualify for the most part, and I will help you make sure that you grab any of those funds available. Also, if you have friends or acquaintances in other companies that you know did not apply for PPP funds as realtors because they either didn't know how or didn't think they were eligible, invite them on this call. We're happy to help anybody obtain some of these funds that are out there for you to obtain. So I'll see you guys at 11. If you've already decided that you don't qualify, be on the call at 11 because I may be successful in convincing you that you actually do. And then, of course, at 3 o'clock today, we have Ben Kinney's Wealth Series continuing. Just as a note, if you haven't been paying attention to the Wealth Series, haven't been diving into the Wealth Series, today might be a day you want to do something different and dive in at 3 o'clock. Ben's topic is pay less taxes. It's a great session. It's about 45 minutes long with some really good ideas on it. And if anyone is interested in paying less taxes, it may be a good use of your time this afternoon. So that's 3 o'clock today. Ben Kinney's Wealth Series, his topic is pay less taxes. You don't have to have come to the previous ones to take things away from this one. Lastly, from an announcements perspective, we will make it official today and then and blast this out a little bit later this morning that if you have traveled outside of the tri-state area and then come back, we are going to ask that you not come into the market center for those 14 days. We're going to take the same stance that our governors, the governors of the New York tri-state have taken. I mentioned this last week. We are going to, as things have not improved elsewhere in the country, we are going to make that an official policy. And so here's how you interpret that. If you've driven someplace in the New York tri-state, you're fine. If you've driven out of the New York tri-state or you've gotten on a plane, you need to not be in the market center for 2 weeks because we need to continue to keep these spaces safe for the people who are working here on a daily basis. And so I get that it's an inconvenience, and yet it was your choice to travel. So please note that I've received, it's funny, I've received more pushback on this after I mentioned it last week than I've received on anything else in the last 4 months. Guys, we're just continuing to do the same exact thing that we've been doing since the middle of March, which is make decisions that are either popular or not popular. That's not the basis of these decisions, but they're decisions to keep you, your staff, and our clients as safe as we possibly can keep them. We don't want here to start to look like what's happening in the rest of the country, right? We want to continue to keep things moving forward and allow us all to work in an unrestricted environment. So small things, but serious things. So you'll get that officially in an email later today. Just wanted to make that announcement. So today's topic for me is complaints. Woohoo! What a great topic. And here's what I mean by complaints. Do you agree that the world is a little bit upside down right now? Right? And that could be you, and it could be clients, and it could be other agents. Everyone's just a little bit on edge or a little bit funky or just a little bit sideways from where we are normally. And what I have found is that in the last 2 weeks, certainly in the last 1 week, oh man, things are kind of going off the rails. So I just want to address it quickly and then have Gary talk about it for just a 4-minute little snippet of a video that I encourage you to watch the rest of later on. Last week on Monday afternoon, after 2 o'clock, I got 5 complaint calls in one afternoon after 2 o'clock. And that's complaints from other agents, it's complaints from sellers, it's complaints from buyers, So just so you know, that is not normal, right? The entire week last week, there were 9 complaint calls for cancellation of contracts and people not getting back to people, and somebody did this wrong. Now guys, here's what I know. What I know is that so many of those things are based in emotion and not always based in fact. And this is not me saying, please stop being so wrong because everybody who's calling me is so right. I'm actually not saying that at all, because what I've learned over the last 20 years is that typically that's not the case, right? Typically you guys are doing exactly what you need to do, and there's either a misinterpretation or someone's trying to get something done on the outside that doesn't really have much to do with you. However, let's recognize that the takeaway from an increase in complaint calls has to be that we need to change how we're doing something, right? We need to rise to the level of bigger, better, more consistent communication, because for all intents and purposes, the way you solve these things, and right now it is so massively important, you've got to have a system or a schedule in place where you are over communicating with everybody you need to communicate with. If your normal system is to communicate 2 or 3 times a week with a buyer, you need to make that 3 to 4 times a week. If your communication system with your sellers is Mondays and Thursdays, unless there's an offer, you need to up that to 3 or 4 times a week. If your communication with other agents during a negotiation is, I'm going to pass this to you and then kind of wait until you get back to me, you need to change that up. And you need to ask, if Jody and I are in the middle of a negotiation, I'm going to ask Jody specific questions. Jody, here's the offer. When can I expect to hear back from your sellers, right? And Jody's going to give me an answer. And if I don't hear back by 7 o'clock tonight with an answer, I'm going to call Jody again and say, hey, you just said 7. I wanted to just check in, right? And keep everybody talking to eliminate these pockets of doubt, because that's what's happening in a lot of these scenarios. There's no communication or not enough communication, and it creates these pockets of doubt. And when there's an absence or a pocket of information, people just start making up their own truths. And sometimes those truths have you doing things nefariously, or you forgetting about them, or you not doing your job. And so let's all just rise to the occasion of we have to meet people where they are, right? So treat people at a higher level of communication and respect. You have a choice when things come your way. You can either get ready to fight, or you can get ready to ask some questions, right? And asking questions is a way to disarm everybody and keep things civil so that we can all move forward. Does that make sense to everybody? So listen to, just oddly enough, Gary, or maybe not oddly, maybe because it's happening across the country, just because the people themselves are in a kind of a weird spot. Gary had a conversation just on Thursday or Friday about this very topic. And so I want to play you the first 3 or 4 minutes of this, and then we'll dive into Marty Miller. So check out this conversation about communication and civility.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Lifeline, Living Your Future Every Day. I've got my wonderful partners, Monica, Jason, and Jay with me. And today, guys, I just wanted to talk about civility. You know, our last 2 episodes, you graciously allowed me to do that solo with some amazing people. And we talked about, you know, the civil unrest and the civil injustice that are happening right now. And I kind of wanted to turn to a subject that runs parallel with this, and that is the idea of civility. So I looked it up in the dictionary. So what is civility, right? And the dictionary says it's politeness and courtesy in behavior and speech. Now, Jay, you and I we're wordsmiths. When I say that, now I don't mean to put you on the spot, so it's okay if you go, I don't know. But when I say that, I say civility, it's politeness and it's courtesy in behavior and speech. What's the opposite of that?
Well, uncivility, incivility, hostility, right? You go through a bunch of other antonyms for that.
Yeah.
But civil discourse is not about discord, right? You're trying to actually make things work together and communicate and listen. And the opposite of civility, it just kills dialogue.
I heard a phrase many, many years ago, and that was that we should always strive for in our conversations a high clash of ideas, but a low clash of egos. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that's really disappointed me, Jason, is the amount of incivility that's going on right now. Right? People have the right to have an opinion. Right? That's America, and I get that. But when you share that opinion in an uncivil or mean way, what goes through your head when you experience that?
Oh, to be candid with you, I haven't heard the word civility used in regular conversation in quite some time. When you mentioned, let's talk about civility, I was thinking, gosh, when was the last time that word came up in any of our political discourse or in any of our business discourse? And so I went on the hunt to try to find a way to frame that thought. And I found something interesting. It says that civility is about disagreeing without disrespect. It's seeking common ground as a starting point for dialogue about differences. It's listening past one's preconceptions, and then it's teaching others to do the same. And I thought about that, and then I asked myself, does my calendar match that? Like you always say, does your calendar match your goals? And I'm asking, have I been living that as well? I'd like to think I'm good at it, but I tell you this, it's very similar to, it's not enough to just be not something. We now need to be anti those things. I'm going to be anti not civility. And Jay, I know that you're going to kill me on my grammar, but I don't know how else to say it.
I love the thought. I get it.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. And that, by the way, when you're writing, you actually have editors. And so you can say whatever you want and your editor will make you look smart. But Monica, when we're saying all of this, what goes through your head?
I thought about that when I got the text from you yesterday, and I went, whoa, I got to look this up because I think I know what it meant. And then I thought about in a coaching world, when you go to a seller's house and they are adamant about their price or they're adamant about how things are going to go on the contract. I've always said, I always say to someone that I know that I'm not going to be in harmony with at first. I respect that. I hear what you're saying. And that builds a trust bridge all of a sudden so that we're on the same level now. I hear what you're saying. I respect that. And can I share this also with you? Yeah. Yeah. So there's that trust bridge that gets built when you get to their level saying, I hear you. I respect that. Instead of saying, well, that's not right. Well, you can't do that.
I think that's so smart. And to me, that goes back to something that I always hear Josh Team say, which is, let's argue ideas. Let's not argue people. And for me, that kind of frames this, right? It's okay to disagree without disrespect.
All righty. So just a quick snippet of that conversation. Right. And so it's a matter of it's okay to disagree without disrespect. I think that's a perfect place to end that. Right. I encourage you. That's right on KW Connect, guys, right at the top of a pivot shift ahead page. There's 15 more minutes of it and it just gets better from there. I just wanted to play you a snippet to show you that everyone across the country inside of our organization is kind of talking this same conversation right now. How do we make sure that we're wrapping our arms around each other and not putting our fists up towards each other? Because that's the way we get more done. That's the way more things happen with less drama. It's the way to be more effective and more efficient, right? And as Debbie reminded us in the chat before the video, this is not about texting people more. It's not about sending more emails. It's about one-on-one communication, either phone to phone or Zoom to Zoom, right? Choose your method, but be in communication with people so that you can continue dialogues with people and make sure that they always start from a place of curiosity and not judgment, regardless of the conversation you have. It's always curiosity and not judgment. And I think that will help quell some of these hair on fire moments that we've been having of late, right? And again, just help you get back to the business of the business instead of being distracted by drama. I hope that was helpful. Again, I do encourage you to watch the rest of that session with Gary and friends later this morning. Adonis, what do we have for Mr. Marty Miller this morning?
Good morning, good sir. Very good session this morning. Very poignant information. Today we're going to be talking about building a custom smart plan for Facebook lead follow-up, part 1.
Good evening, Keller Williams, and welcome back to the KW Command 66-Day Challenge 4.0, and today is day 5. Today we're actually going to do the first half of a 2-part challenge. I worked through the smart plan, custom smart plan task originally, and it was just a really long video. And so my goal is always to have shorter videos. So I'm going to break this into 2 videos. We're going to talk about building out a custom smart plan to reply to your Facebook leads. And so in order to create a custom smart plan, we're going to start with the smart plan applet here on the left-hand side, the 4th one down. To create a custom smart plan, we're going to come up to the top right-hand corner and we're going to click on Create. And from there, it's going to ask us what the plan name is. So I'm just going to call this 66-Day Challenge 4.0 Facebook Lead Follow-Up. That's a little long. You can definitely make it shorter if you'd like. And I'm going to click on Apply. When you create a custom smart plan, you're going to see on the left-hand side, this is the flow of your smart plan. And on the right-hand side, these are the 7 steps that you can build into your smart plan. If you are not familiar with custom smart plans at all, there are a couple of different Facebook groups out there. The one that I found to be very beneficial is the Command Your Database smart Facebook group. It's basically a Facebook group set up completely around smart plans. And so there are several there that I've kind of made an amalgamation of for this smart plan that we're going to do. And so I've actually written it out here in Word. I'm going to copy and paste this into the comments of this video so that we can, so you guys can copy and paste it into the one that you build too. So the first step that we're going to do is go ahead and send an SMS MMS or a text message. And this is the reason why we had Twilio set up before. You can see my Twilio account is connected. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this text in so you can see what it says. That way I don't have to type it all out for you guys. And it basically says, hey, contact first name. Thanks for clicking on the home I recently posted on Facebook. This is agent first name with Keller Williams. Did you have any questions? In case you're like me and occasionally forget what you clicked on, here's the link to the home with pictures, price, and more. Let me know if you'd like me to set up a showing for you. All right, so a few things here. Where it says contact first name, this is actually a merge field. So I'm going to delete that out and then click on this funky F. This is where the merge fields are hidden. And I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to bring in contact first name. Now realize when you bring in merge fields, they for some reason put an extra space before and after. So I'm going to delete out that space there and that space there. That way it just looks a lot cleaner. So this is going to say, hey, contact first name. So whoever I assign this smart plan to, it's going to add their first name here. Thanks for clicking on the home I recently posted on Facebook. This is, and now that's my name. So I'm going to actually, and I can bring in a merge field for that if I want as well. And so here's agent first name. And again, I'm going to take out the extra spaces so that it doesn't look weird on the text. So this is Marty with Keller Williams. Did you have any questions? So thanks for clicking the home I recently posted on Facebook. In case you're like me and occasionally forget what you clicked on, here's the link to the home with pictures, price, and more. Now here is where we're going to actually bring in that landing page that we created previously. So let's do this. We're going to save this smart plan. We're going to go find our landing page in Consumer. And here is that landing page. It's the one we created for Morgan's Lake. Now, one thing we didn't do when we created this that I want to do now, just because this looks like alphabet soup, is I want to customize the URL. And I can do that by clicking on the 3 dots and then click on Change URL. I can't change this first part of the URL, and yet I can change what happens after. So I'm just going to put in 17322 Morgan's Lake. So that way it looks a little more legit. So I'm going to click on create. That's going to change the URL, which we can see here. I can click on it, and then I'm actually going to copy and paste this, copy and paste that link back. So I'm going to copy it. We're going to go back to our smart plan, and I'm going to copy that into that text message that I sent originally. So let's go back and find that one I was working on. Here it is. I'll click on the pencil to edit it. That'll bring up the editor. We're back to that first SMS, and I said, did you have any questions? In case you're like me and occasionally forget what you clicked on, here's the link. I'm going to paste the link, and then it'll say, let me know if you'd like me to set up a showing for you. Now realize we have 480 characters max, so we're at 416 on this text message, just a heads up there. And so now I have that text message set up. Next thing I want to do is I want to set a delay. I'm going to assume that you guys have already called this lead the first day as well. So now I'm going to set a delay by clicking on the hourglass. And you can see then I can put in the max number of days. So we're just going to put in set a delay for 1 day. Step number 3 is to send an email. So we're going to go ahead and copy this email. I'm going to go back into the smart plan, and now I'm going to say I want to send an email. So you can see that brings in step number 3. We're now on day 2, and I can come down here and paste in the email. So the subject line for this email was just checking in, or checking in, right? So you can see that here. So we're going to put the subject line here, checking in. Let me spell that correctly. And then again, I've got the contact first name merge field. I want to bring in that merge field for the contact first name, take out the extra spaces. Again, you probably just want to do this each time you have a merge field, take out those extra spaces. It says, I texted you yesterday about the home listed in Bridgeland that I recently posted on Facebook. Now, again, if you're going to be running ads in multiple different neighborhoods, you need to edit or make copies of the smart plan to then reflect the neighborhood that you're running the ads in. But that listing that I was featuring was in Bridgeland, and so that's why I have that there. It then says I sent a text to and has contact phone. So I'm going to drop that merge field in. I'm going to take out the extra spaces. It basically says, hey, I sent a text to this number. Is that the best number for you? Question mark. Also realize you might just be looking right now, and yet I want to see if there are any questions you might have or neighborhoods you'd like more information. I'm happy to help you start learning more about neighborhoods such as recently listed properties, average prices per square foot, or the averages on market. If any of that would interest you, please let me know. And then I have signature. You do have to put in your signature line in on these emails. So I'm just going to put Martin Miller, Summit Property Group, and then Keller Williams Platinum, and then my phone number. All right, so got that set up. Now the next step, so we're moving on, and you can see why this is a 2-part video, right? So the next task, I'm going to remind myself to call this contact. So I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to add a task. So here's a call task, right? I can actually put a make a call task or just create a task. Let's go ahead and add the make a call. So that way it's an automated call task. Now the first thing it says is task name. So I'm going to put Facebook follow up, and then I'm going to use the merge field so I don't have to actually go look up this person's name or phone number. For some reason, when you're bringing in more than one merge fields, I've seen that they come in reverse order. So I'm going to use contact phone, then I'm going to do contact last, and then I'm going to do contact first. And so you can see it put it in that reversed order: contact first name, contact last name, contact phone number. And that's all I have to do. That's going to be a task that's due today. So the next step now, all right, so we're moving through. Step number 5 is set another delay for 1 day. So we're just going to come right back in. We're going to go back to set delay. And you can see that's our next step, is set delay and 1 day. All right, great. And what's the next thing we're going to do? All right, so now we're going to send another text message. So step number 6 is to send another text message. So that's SMS, MMS. Let's click on that, and let's scroll back down to what that one is. And this one talks about our app and COVID. So let's go ahead and get that one copied in and pasted back into the text message. And again, anytime you see these merge fields, you do need to delete them out and then actually add them with the merge field. You're just copying in characters. You're not actually copying in the merge field. So remove the space, and then it says, I realize it might be difficult to view a home in person due to the current situation with COVID-19, so I'd be happy to do a FaceTime call with you or send you a quick video of the home. In fact, you can actually request a live video showing on any property you're interested in straight from my KW Consumer app. Here's the link to download that. And so I'm going to take out app link, click on merge fields, and here is the KW app link. So I can drop that in. That is my actual app link. So it'll be customized and branded to me. The next step says, all right, we want to make a call again. So I'm going to go back up to call. And basically I'm calling these contacts once a day for 3 days in a row, in addition to the emails and the texts. So I'm going to do the same exact step that we just did. Facebook follow up. And oops, I'm putting that in the wrong section. So let me put that back in the task name. That way it just easily shows up when I go to view my tasks. And again, I'm putting in these merge fields in backwards so that they show up in the right order. And I'm not sure if they're alphabetical. That may be what it is. If you have more than one of them, they may be alphabetical. So if you're doing any other merge fields, it's most likely when you're stringing them one after another, I believe that they come in alphabetical. That's why you got to kind of put them in that reverse order. All right, so step number 8 is to set a delay now for 2 days. So let's go back up to the top and let's set another delay. And this one, so we hit them hot and heavy for 3 days in a row. So now we're going to slow down just a little bit. So we're going to wait 2 days and then we're going to send them another text message. So let's copy this text message in. Step number 9, and let's go back up, add an SMS, MMS, and then scroll back down. All right, so I'm going to take out the merge field for contact first name. I'm actually going to put hey and then merge field, contact first name, and let's take out those extra spaces. Let's do an exclamation point at this part. I hope I'm not being a pest. I wanted to make sure you're being taken care of. Several additional homes have been recently listed in Bridgeland. Again, remember, this was the neighborhood I was featuring that listing in. What is your preferred price range so I do not spam you with homes you don't like? Okay, and in this case, I haven't identified myself, and yet the text is coming from that same number. So at this point, they should know that it's me. On the other side, you know, some people identify themselves on every single text. So let's go ahead and do it on this one since I did on the first one. So hey again, blah, blah, blah. It's Marty with KW. I'll be a little more informal there. And then we'll get down to this text. All right, so step number 10 on our plan is to set another delay. So I'm going to set a 1-day delay now. Let's go back up to the top, set the delay, and make it 1 day. Okay, perfect. And then what's step number 11? Step 11 is to send out another text message. So we'll go back up. We're going to send a text message. And this one talks about specific homes. So it says, hey, I did not hear back, so I thought I'd go ahead and send you some homes. All right, so let me paste that in. And it says, I did not hear back. At this point, we're just assuming that they know who it is. We're not even using their name, right? We're just getting straight to the point. So I did not hear back, so I thought I would go ahead and send you some of those recently listed Bridgeland homes I was talking about. I'd love to hear if any of these homes match what you're looking for. And then it has a add link here. All right, so what do we want to send them? We want to send them recently listed homes in Bridgeland, and I want to send them from my site. So again, now you can see why we did all of these things previously. I'm going to go to my app site, which is already all set up. We customized this earlier on. I'm going to search for that neighborhood where I'm advertising this listing. And here you can see Bridgeland and Cypress. And then what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have 0 filters set, right? I want all of the homes to show up. And then I want to do sort by, and I want to make sure that I select days on market and sort low to high. Okay, so I've got the Bridgeland neighborhood already set up because that's what I searched for, and I selected that neighborhood. And then I have no filters other than sort by days on market and selected low to high. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this link, and this is the link that I'm going to put in that text. Okay, so I'd love to hear if any of these homes match what you're looking for, and then it has that text message. Okay, and then we're going to send an email with the exact same thing. So they're going to get a text of these and an email. So I'm going to click on send email, and then we're going to do the subject of the email. So let's go all the way down to the bottom. And the subject on this one is recently listed homes in, and then choose that neighborhood that you're featuring. And then we'll come back up. We're just going to copy that text message. And at this point, because we're sending an email, we probably should have a greeting, right? So, oops. There it goes. A space, merge field, first name, and take out the spaces. And then I'm going to put, I did not hear back from you, so I thought I would go ahead and exactly the same one. And then let's just add our signature at the bottom here, Marty Miller, Summit Property Group, Keller Williams, Button, and my phone number. All right, guys, so that's about halfway through this custom smart plan. You can see this takes a little bit of time to build out, and yet this is going to automate our follow-up process. We're still going to need to make our calls, but now we're also sending texts and emails following up on this specific ad. So right now we've got a 6-day plan with 12 steps and 8 touches, because 4 of those steps are delays. So always make sure that you save this smart plan. Tomorrow when we come, validation, smart plan cannot have more than 7 touches within 7 days. Uh-oh. All right, so I can't double dip on these. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna send a text, and then we've got a delay. And then we're gonna send an email. And then, all right, so we need to add a delay. So let's move this delay up. So you can see I can move it up. Right, so now I've got email and then delay. And now I've got a task here. And then let's see, SMS. So I need to add another delay. Let's move that other delay up here. All right, so now we've got SMS and then delay, and then make a call, SMS, and then delay, and then text and email. We may need to put a delay in between those two. Let's see what happens when we go to save. All right, smart plan, no more than 7 touches within 7 days. Okay, so we need to add some additional delays. So let's go back up to the top, and I'm going to add a delay. That's going to put it at the very bottom, right? And so now I need to move this one up. And so now I've got the final thing is the email, and then a delay. Moving backwards, I've got a text, and then a delay, and SMS, and a call, plus a delay, SMS, call. All right, let's see if that will save. 7 touches within 7 days. I've got 8 touches. All right. So here's a touch, SMS. Here's the delay. I think what it's doing is counting the calls. So I've got text is 1, email is 2, and then I've got call is 3, text is 4, call is 5, text is 6, text is 7, email is 8. Yep. So it's counting those calls as touches as well. There used to be a way to turn those calls into non-touches. Let me see. I don't think that we can do those anymore. So we've got to get some additional delays, or I've got to take out the calls. Now I called them when I first got the lead. I called them the 2nd day. So if I haven't converted them at that point, let's go ahead and take out the call on day 3. So I'm going to X this one out, delete that step. So now you can see that I should have at the top 7 days and 7 touches. So let's click on save. That should allow us to validate. So it's a good example and just something to know, right? I had not tested this fully, adding in the call touches. So no more than 1 touch per day. So you've got to kind of spread out your touches. Unfortunately, they do count a phone call as a touch as well. So let's go ahead and save it now. I'm going to stop step 1 of this challenge, and then tomorrow we'll come back in. We'll fine tune the rest of the smart plan. We'll have that ready to go. We're going to launch our ad on Monday and then move forward with the leads from there.
Can you hear me? Okay. My
Yeah,
Zoom was frozen. My Zoom was crazy frozen. Marty froze me. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to continue with this and do part 2, building a custom smart plan. So this video is kind of long. That's okay. Rewind it, play it again. You'll get it. Hope you guys all have a good day today. We'll see you tomorrow.